one of speaking of goals and taking action in life, although this is me just speaking, but it's a personal, desire and feeling I have is stand-up comedy. And I moved to Austin, Texas specifically for that. And, phase one is going to open mics, you know?
That's wicked. Awesome.
So yeah, this past weekend, and I didn't want to, I had a friend fly in. So I had like people around, so I was really busy, but I also knew like I could use that as an excuse to wait another week, which means another pushback, which means when you wait to do something, it also increases the odds of you not doing it, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't want that. So I even though I pay people here, I was like, I have to do this. Like I gotta go to the open mic. I gotta get this first one here in this city out of the way, and I did it. So I show up, and it's at a coffee house, and there's about I show up at the time they say this to show up, and there's like a list, and I look and there's already like 30 names on there, and I'm like, okay, so lesson number one: show up before the time they say, or else you're gonna be. So I do, but it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna get on. But mind you, I'm like 30th, and there's like 35 to 37 people going, and there's only about 40 to 45 people in there, which means 90+% of the individuals in there are just like me. They're open mic, aspiring comedians who are there to do their work, and you only get 3 minutes. So it's not like, in terms of audience interaction, it's not going to be great because everyone's focused on themselves realistically,
They don't want anybody else funnier than them there.
that too. That too. So, but I kind of like that because it's like, okay, this is like one of the worst possible scenarios for you to do anything, right? And it starts, and again, I'm 30th, and as most of them go, they do it and then they leave, so by the time it gets to me, there's only about 20 total people left in there, and the laughter has been dying out the entire, that's a lot of people, like 30 people to do 3 minutes, and none are professional. Like that's, even if there was a crowd there that was there specifically for that, like they're going to be tired out. So again, this is like a horrible scenario. So I'm like, all right, if I can just get some laughs, I'll take it as a win, because like these last 4 dudes that went before me got 0 laughs. Like literally it was just like dead silent. It was bad. Like and some of them like would give up. Like, you only get 3 minutes. And like by minute 1, they're like, I don't have anything left. I'm done. And they would just walk up. Like it was crazy. Like some people would go up there and they would immediately give up on comedy. Like one guy went up there and he was like, I was born on Juneteenth. It was this black dude. And he was in the corner of the club, the coffee house, the whole night until his turn, and he was wearing a mask, and he was like hiding away from people, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be funny.
No.
And he wasn't. He gets up, he does take his mask off, and he's like, I was born on June 19th, which is Juneteenth, I think. And he's like, does anyone celebrate Juneteenth? And I was like,
what is Juneteenth?
Juneteenth is the black. Apparently, that's when I think it was when the slaves were freed, as history goes. So it's become was for years an unofficial Black American holiday, but it recently was made official. Like I think it's a federal holiday now with everything that happened the past few years, like where they started throwing them little carrots to be like, yeah, you're like us now. We love you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yeah, Juneteenth is now an official federal holiday in the United States of America. Oh, yeah, I forget you're both Canadian. My apologies.
Yeah.
So he just says that, and like no one's responding. He's like, who here? And then he switches it up. He's like, who here lives in Austin, Texas? And some people are like, and people are like, who here was born in the state of Texas? It's like, what is this? This is not anything. And he's like, who here was born in the United States of America? And like most people raise it. He's like, you know what? Was anyone not born in the United States? And then like one person raises their hand, and he's like, where are you from, sir? He's like, I'm from Africa. And it was this white dude, strangely enough.
Oh my God.
He's like, oh, you're from Africa? Do you consider yourself African? And he's like, yeah, I was born in Africa. And he's like, I'd like to talk to you. And then he just walked off stage. And I was like, wow. what was he trying to, like, it was like a bizarro TED talk. And like, so, I mean, like, and there's another dude that went up, He's like, I've been doing this for 12 years. And that started a trend of people like saying how long they've been doing it until someone was like, is this an AA meeting? Which was kind of funny. But anyways, long story short is like, there's nothing impressive going on. So as this is going on, I'm like, okay, there's nothing to be afraid of here. Like there's no one in here that is like, you know,
Was this your first stand up? This is your first time doing it?
This is my first time doing it for like with intention in many
Okay.
years.
Congrats. Yeah.
So yeah, so like, you know, it's like one thing to do, like I've done stuff, but I never like it wasn't even a thought in my mind. It was just like I'm here, it happened, whatever. But this is like with I want to do this. So there's like an extra level of seriousness that I myself have attached. It's not a big deal, you know.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, but you know,
It-
like I shouldn't
is,
make it a
yeah.
big deal, but like you know how like you make things big deals, like
Yeah.
you should just like you just got to be cool about it, you know.
Mhm.
It's like all right, it's like when you look at it, like when you're doing plumbing work, like it is a big deal, but you know you can do it, you know. Like if you get overwhelmed, it's like you know that's could be problematic.
You're creating a monster. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I start to realize like okay, I'll be okay. So my only focus. Hold on one second. I gotta mute.
Hey y'all, just want to take a quick break here to tell you to subscribe. Well, you can do it. It's free will. It's your life. It's not mine. But the Northern Wolves YouTube channel, Northern Wolves Podcast is what you would search. Those are the two individuals I'm talking to during this clip, and the full episode later this week that'll be out. Great guys, awesome content, and really a unique perspective on the state of the world and really just what it means to be a human being. So this is my little plug for them to definitely check out the Northern Wolves Podcast on YouTube. Anyways, back to the rest of the clip.
Chick-fil-A was kicking in.
Oh, man.
So the only thing I'm concerned about now is the microphone. I just want to be able to get on stage and grab the microphone correctly, right? Like that's my only concern. I know that sounds silly, but it's like I don't want to go up there and fumble. But two dudes before me, he completely bombed, and when he put the microphone back, he pushed the stand down to like a foot tall. I'm like, okay, well that's annoying. And the next guy didn't fix it. And I'm like, okay, that's even double annoying. And then when my name's getting called up, like you blur out, you know. And I get up there and I go to where the mic's been placed the entire night. Granted, it's only a foot tall, but the mic's not there. So I'm like, oh, great. And there's like 4 mics because it's just a stage. And I'm like, which one is it? You know, but I was able to be like, you know, I was like, well, you know, all night I was having anxiety about grabbing this microphone, and the last 2 guys tried to sabotage me they sabotaged me pretty good. So that was like a nice like way to just kind of start, you know, off the cuff of my mind while dealing with the fact that like I'm dealing with like trying to be in control here. And, you know, I started, and again, I got some laughs. My biggest laugh was I had a goal of if I can say the darkest thing possible and get a laugh with my very first time officially in front of the worst possible scenario crowd, then I think I'll be okay. Like as long as I work at this, you know. But that's like an important like starting little benchmark moment for me if I can pull that off. So I was doing, you know, so I had this bit where basically I was like talking about how I'm recording it so I can practice on my phone, and you know, depending on whether I do good, bad, or ugly. And then I give examples of like good, bad, and then like the very end I say, and if this goes ugly, I'll kill myself. And then like that got laughs. That got laughs, you know, because I said it very like, it was unexpected.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
Oh man.
you know, I got laughs, but you know, I wasn't perfect. Like I had I went into Elon Musk and Neuralink and how people somehow magically think, even though all of history shows us that technology always has back doors in it, but for some reason this, you know, Neuralink supposedly doesn't, even though it's going to be linked in our mind. You know, it was something like that, but I didn't get to any of that. I got
What
lost
could
in my
go
words.
wrong?
Yeah, exactly. What could go wrong? You know, was kind of the point, but I didn't say any of that. I just got on Elon Musk and I kind of got stuck. So I wasn't perfect, you know, but I did get some laughs. I got some laughs in other parts. And the most important thing was, you know, they wave you when you're past your time. And I was, you know, they waved me. And I have a friend who's from the military, my time in the military, and she's a black lesbian. Okay.
Nice.
And she gets more girls than me. And you know, that was like the bit I was gonna go into.
That's funny.
But I was at my time, so I started I started my set by complaining about people trying to sabotage me, and my bit and my 3 minutes. It was like 3 minutes. Actually, you know what? I have it recorded. It's 3 minutes 35 seconds, which I thought it was funny. It's like, oh,
Son of a
33.
bitch.
Oh no! I knew I was controlled out the whole time. No,
Confirmed
Yeah.
Illuminati.
Yep.
But you know, they were waving, so that ended with just saying, and my friend who's a black lesbian, and then I was done. I was like, oh, I guess that's my time. So I started complaining about the microphone, and I ended just with the phrase black lesbian, and that was my first set.
Yeah.
With no
That's
punchline.
awesome. Yeah.
So that's how it went, yeah.
Attaboy.
But the important thing is now I'm excited to get back on and go to different spots, and there's all sorts of places in Austin to do open mics, which is why I moved here. It is like the comedy land of opportunity. So I
Amazing.
just knew like I had to get through that first time to know in this weird scenario. And it's like, I'm still alive. I'm breathing. Everything's good. I got a few laughs. I know I can do this. So now I just have to get good at it. Yeah.
I feel like dark humor, man, especially you delivering it, would be great. Great.
You know, and you know what's funny about that is anyone prior to that moment, and I'm not making this up, like I'm not trying to pat myself, but like you reevaluate, and then like the more I thought about the night and everything that we just talked about, I kind of worked out in my head like this was not a good scenario for comedy at all. Like I did okay, like I really did. I'm proud of what I achieved. And one thing was anyone who tried dark comedy like that, like killing themselves, you know, suicide, whatever. Like it is dark, I admit it. They got zero anything, and there was a temptation in my mind to not say any of that because like, you know, no one else is getting it, but I just like, no, I think this will work. Like that sudden, like, I'll just kill myself. Like that will work. Like stick with it, trust yourself. And I did, and I didn't back down just because other people were failing. So lesson learned there too, for sure.
You got to test out, walk up there and be like, well, I didn't die from the vaccine, so that's good.
Well, yeah, we'll see. You know, trust me, we'll get to that moment.
Oh,
you know,
man.
we'll get there. We'll get
No,
there.
I think you're gonna do well. I think you're gonna do well. Like having you know, the insights that you do and this kind of bigger perspective.
Yeah.
Bringing that, you know, comedians have the power to kind of make a big change. They bring awareness to a lot of things, right?
Yeah,
So
but
I think it's very good that you're getting into that. Yeah.
yeah, I just think, you know, and again, as we've, you know, the idea of action and like just words and stuff like that, I still want part of my life, like this is my goal, but I still want to become like a skillful person overall in life with certain, you know, other real survivable things. But for whatever reason, you know, since I was a youngster, this is like a path I've been running away from, which is kind of silly. So it's like there's an undeniable I have to do this to at least know.
Yeah.
You know. So
Carl
yeah.
Jung, where your fear lies, your path also lies.
Yeah. That's everything. So yeah, man.
What worst case scenario? Gain 200 pounds and put on a Hawaiian shirt. Fuck, you'll just kill it, buddy.
Yeah. That's funny.
You don't even have to be funny at that point. Just, oh, it'd be great.
Right.
Yeah.